Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's really great to be here again, 12th time that we're holding the FreeMind Non-Dilutive Funding Summit, and I really thank you all for joining us. I think I got to say, great job. We used to be at the NICO for many years, and it's really a great spot here, so we really enjoy it. For those of you who know us, FreeMind for the past decade or so has attempted to fully realize the importance of non-dilutive funding for the life sciences industry. And I think more than anything else, we've tried to educate the industry to an extent of the availability of funding, substantial, even strategic funding from sources that are non-dilutive, such as NIH, DoD, and such, to create a much necessary bridge over the troubled waters of life sciences R&D. I'm extremely proud that we've grown significantly from a small operation over the past 18 years now that we've been around, to 60 full-time employees, to over 500 submissions a year of applications, to countless workshops and webinars and educational work that we do and we strongly believe in, and to hundreds of millions of dollars in support that we help get for our clients and for the industry at large. We think non-dilutive funding is not, it will never be the only or even the main driving force behind this industry. Nevertheless, it is a crucial engine. It's a backbone. It's a vital backbone of the industry. And we believe every CEO, every investor must look at it as a strategic source of funding. Every year preparing for this event and on a regular basis, really, towards the end of the year, I look through different reports and studies and review all of these to try and understand the state of the industry, the state of non-dilutive funding, to see where we stand. And the role NIH, DoD, NSF, FDA, CDC, private foundations play is vital. It's a strategic role. We witness a very important, very interesting, I think, development in the industry. The return large pharmas get for their R&D investment is dropping. I think it was Deloitte, I think, that quoted 3.7% return on an R&D investment by the big pharmas. It's very, very, very low. At the same time, small businesses, mid-sized companies manage to triple that return on R&D investment, and the effectiveness grows significantly. Out of 30.4 new molecular entities on average, only a single one will go through preclinical work and will go all the way to being approved and marketed. The cost of developing drugs is increasing to over $1.5 billion over 15 years on average. EY expects sale loss of $21 billion in 2017. PwC reports R&D investment of $1.1 trillion between 2002 and 2011. Huge amounts of money. And reading all these reports, and I'm sure you've all looked at them and seen the headlines and all, I think they all come down and echo the very same conclusions, the very same numbers. Number one, small and mid-sized companies are far more effective in research and in managing research due to better focus of their attention, of their research objectives, of their targets, better focus of the specific populations they look at, significantly greater R&D management environment and effectiveness, and above all, greater entrepreneurial spirit. Number two, I think it's very clear the big pharmas realize it. We went through still going through a very strong period of M&As, but all pharmas are trying to do more for less, and different, they test different management models of R&D. So if you go through some of the examples, GSK created centers of excellence, and Sanofi reorganized their R&D operations, and Lilly and Roche have acquired new companies on the one hand, but kept them independent and incorporated them into the organization on the other. And AbbVie reorganized its R&D facilities as independent entities. And there are additional examples with Johnson & Johnson, with others. And number three, which I think is probably the most important point, academic methodologies, research collaborations are becoming increasingly important. It's becoming very clear that research investment and effectiveness is tied to the understanding of mechanisms of action and the ability to create translational research that will focus attention of clinical work on specific target, leading to better effectiveness, not as much money invested in creating a possible success there. This effectively creates, we believe, the ground for both collaborative effort between academia and industry between industry and industry, and creates many more new companies coming out of academic labs. And now if you look at the other side of our equation, the non-dilutive funding world, I think it's quite shocking to find, at least it was for us, that on the one hand, NIH and DoD have realized it. Looking a few years back, they've already streamlined a lot of their policies, a lot of the money they allocate to exactly those targets. They present a great opportunity, looking into translational research, looking into industry-oriented research, looking into clinical research. And that's a really important view we see. Billions of dollars are focused every year, and in 2017, more than any year before, on these industry-related or industry-affiliated type of research activities. In March 2016, a bipartisan legislation have doubled the NIH SBIR program from about 3% of the budget today, under $1 billion, to over $2 billion within 10 years. That's a very, very significant step. All focusing on companies alone, small to mid-size, under 500 employees, and allowing today for a direct to phase 2 SBIR submission that allows to $1 to even $3 million per submission without the necessity of going through a phase 1 SBIR submission. The CARB-X program that has been created, and we have representative from CARB-X, from BARDA today, is a great example of the collaborative effort between the federal government and private investors, creating, in essence, a fund of $500 million, an accelerator of $500 million, focusing on creation of new entities, new enterprises, focusing on antimicrobial work. The 21st Century Cures Act, streaming $4.8 billion to NIH for translational programs such as the BRAIN program, the Precision Medicine Initiative, and the Cancer Moonshot program, allowing the Cancer Moonshot $755 million in 2017. NINDS, with neurological disorders and stroke focus, has created new programs looking into translational and clinical work, such as the Blueprint. And there are many other programs within NIH, within Department of Defense, other sources of funding. All of them are looking to support the industry. I think the great lineup we have today of individuals coming from NIH, DoD, and other such agencies is a clear sign to their need, to their desire to meet with industry, to understand industry, and to present their policies, what funding is available and how it could be allocated to the best possible research in the industry. We strongly believe, therefore, that the non-dilutive funding agencies are a great ally to the industry, and we're very fortunate to have these speakers around. But non-dilutive funding must not be looked at as the odd member of the investment world. It's an important pillar, it's an important source, and must be looked at and respected as such. We strongly believe, just like all of us coming here to JP Morgan, having 30 or 40 meetings with different investors, you don't go and meet with one. You strategically screen through all available possible investors. You try to meet as many as possible. You do your very best to go all sides and promote yourself and your company and the possibility of investing in you. And you should all do the very same thing with non-dilutive funding. Understand the landscape. Identify all funding opportunities relevant for you scientifically. Prioritize them based on your needs, financially, strategically, scientifically, and then implement that strategy of multiple submissions. Submit as many applications as possible to increase your likelihood for success. Submit them methodologically, submit them systematically. Make sure you treat them just like any of your investors. I think that's the best advice we can give after 18 years in this business. I was recently invited to sit on a panel discussion organized by J Labs at Lowell, Massachusetts, and I had two VCs and an angel group next to me on the panel, all of which have directed the entrepreneurs to speak with us and to go for non-dilutive funding, not because they didn't want to invest in them, but because the value of $1 coming from NIH is far greater than $1 coming from any other source due to the validity of their scientific review. They're very quick, by the way, review process, due diligence in investors lingo. Within 4 months, you will have your review completed and a very detailed score and review of your work, which is wonderful. So, if you take it in a strategic manner, if you're able to maximize the number of submissions, if you're able to identify all possible funding opportunities, this will maximize your potential for funding and will turn NIH, DoD, non-dilutive funding into a successful and strategic source of funding for your company. And the bottom line is, don't forget, you give 0% of your shares in exchange for the money. Nothing beats that. So, as Eyal said, we have a great lineup. We have great opportunities to meet the leaders from NIH and DoD and other sources here. We think this is a wonderful event that we are so happy to put together every year as a great educational event and an opportunity to meet with the NIH, with the DoD, with the funding sources. I wish you all a very good day and a successful year. Thank you very much.